Get this meeting started. Thursday, March 27th, 6 o'clock. Can we call the roll, please?
Yes, Christopher Toth. Here. Jimmy Crouch. Here. Keith Alborn.
Here.
Gary Moss. Here. Jeffrey Estes. Here. Patrice Parsons is not here. Jordan Scott.
Here.
David Barrow.
Here.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you everybody. And next we'll move to citizens' comments. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No.
Citizens, okay. It doesn't look that. Well, alrighty, no comments tonight, so we'll really quick, we'll go through what we have. We have a couple of agendas that we need to approve, and then we have a plat out in the Addleton subdivision, preliminary and a final plat to look at, and then finally we will talk about our work plan, which will be some stuff that the staff wants to see us get done in the near future. So let's go ahead and move to our items for individual consideration, starting with 3A. Consider and act to approve meeting minutes from the February 24th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to read and accept it.
Second.
All right.
You do all in favor if you want.
Can we do all in favor?
Yes.
Oh, all in favor?
Yep.
All opposed? All right. Go ahead and sign this guy really quick. Okay, next, item 3B, consider and act to approve meeting minutes from the February 28th, 2025 Special Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I reviewed the minutes from February 28th and propose to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Cool. All right, item 3C, consider and act to approve meeting minutes from the March 13th, 2025 Special Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great, thank you guys. All right, let's go ahead and move to item 3D. Consider and act to approve the West Bastrop Village Phase 1, Section 5 preliminary plat consisting of 5.1 acres out of the Nancy Blakey Survey Abstract 98, located west of FM 20 within the statutory extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Bastrop, Texas, as shown in Attachment 2.
Good afternoon, excuse me, Commission members. Let me try to give you a good location map. So I believe everybody's familiar with West Bastrop Village, south on 20, east of 20. This is multiple phases of the overall project. This area that's in question is in the green or lime color right there. Again, we had more of a current map, but the lot property to the west at 8734478, if you'll go out there now, that's where the elementary school going up for the school district. And y'all just recently approved final plats for all the property around it. So the piece that we're talking about tonight is between the existing houses being built there on Weaver and Gouda and between the school site. So that big lot to the left is the school that's currently under construction. It's basically consisting of 5.1 acres. Again, there's the proposed layout. It's in our ETJ. It's part of a planned development agreement that was done back in August 11th of 2006. Neighborhood residential, which you see is going to be a residential use. It's going to be 27 single-family lots. And all the utilities are provided, water and sewers through the MUD, the streets maintained by the MUD, and Blue Bonnet's electric services power to it. And that's pretty well it, pretty straightforward. It's another preliminary platting of a section of West Bastrop Village with utilities by the MUD and electric by Blue Bonnet, and pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Do you have a plat with you of that street at the top that goes through to the school?
I don't believe, do we have a more?
And I'm just curious what what that looks like going through at the school?
I don't think we. Well, I apologize, I don't have that drawing, but there's to the west of the school, so you have Alton being punched through as we speak, and you see pretty well all the roads and infrastructure is going in now. The red property line to the east will be, remember the name of the street being punched through to 20? Yeah, Bloom, which will end up connecting up to 20.
71. It'll be connecting up to 71.
71, not 20, 71. So where that, is there a pointer on this thing? So the red line to the far west, there's a section there that's going to be Bloom Street that was part of the last plat we approved. Did I help you, Mr. Crouch? I apologize, I don't have a more overview.
So Weaver is going to go all the way through to that street that you were just talking about?
So Weaver will dead into the school site. We go back to the layout.
Okay, can you go back?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm going too far now.
It just looked like that.
Let me
one
go
was going-
backwards.
That one was going through, I thought. There.
So basically, the loop will be, and I can't read all the street names there, the loop will be, thanks, Weaver Lane, and will dead end into the school site, be part of their bus route and access. And they were going to do rear load at streets and alleys, but they didn't. Basically, you're going to have one street through the center called, zoom in a little bit more for me, Rick. As far as you go. Lavendale. So basically, you're extending the street to the north, and running Lavendale through the center of the development to Alton with front load lots along that. And then you also tie into the Gorda Drive. So can you zoom back out a little bit for me? Or slide down? There you go. So you got the Weaver to the north, Gouda to the center, and Alton to the south with the north, what I'm going to call the north and south street, tying those streets together. And going back to the top again, Rick, if you don't mind, Weaver actually ends up going into the school site.
But it dead ends. It's not,
It'll be part of the driveway through the school site. It won't be a dead end, but it's going to transition from public street to
Okay.
driveway through the school site.
that's what I was wondering. Would it
Makes
look?
Yeah. It dead ends to a lot, which the lot is the school site, and that's going to transition into their driveway and connection and fire lanes, which will eventually go all the way across to the street to the west is.
The one that comes out to
the front of school.
71
Yeah,
is called Bloom.
yeah, Bloom. So that will tie to Bloom to give them their fire and emergency access.
That was my question. I just was curious how that ended up since it was going.
Going back to, let me go back. Let me go back to the overall site, Rick, to the one with the green on it. So basically, as you see, Weaver will dead end into 8734478, which is, cleared now, and you'll see a two-story school building going up as we speak. And along the west side of that will be the road that will eventually connect up to 71.
What kind of school is going to be there?
It's an elementary school.
Is there already an elementary school out there?
There, you can see it's at frame state, that the walls, all the.
They're building as we speak.
Say what?
They're building as we speak.
The school?
Yeah, the school is, yeah.
It'll be open next year. Sorry, I work at meet.
Got it.
Yeah, again, we work real closely with the school district. They've got this school, one have proposed at Cedar Park, and, not Cedar Park, Cedar Creek, so,
In the
This-
Del Valley area.
Dale Valley area,
It's
so
closer to-
they're trying to
I
stay
thought it was
ahead
going
of,
crazy. There's going to be 2 elementary schools out there, because I've seen the elementary school. It's
yeah,
there.
they're trying to stay ahead of the growth in Bastrop,
Got it.
city
Okay.
and county.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions?
No, that was it. I just was curious how that.
Good question, though.
Tied in, since it was going through. Thanks.
Okay, we good, guys?
Just a quick
Okay.
question. What's the size of the lots?
12, what do we figure a while ago? 0.14 acres?
Each lot is 4 acres?
No, 0.14, 0.1. Let's see, if we in the report.
So, yes, most of them are going to be closer to the .1.
0.1.
.1?
It's an ETJ.
They're tight,
You know where this is, don't you?
yeah,
Alton.
yeah.
Yeah.
David
Everything
Wickley
is
and
out
one
there.
other builder's building a good product out there.
Yep.
Is there range garages and stuff? Tiny. Huh? Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah. That's nice.
Can we get a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this additional plat. Is that what it's called?
Preliminary plat.
Preliminary plat for the West Bastrop Village, Phase 1, Section 5, consisting of 5.1 acres out of the Nancy Blakely survey located west of FM 20, within the statutory ETJ of the City of Bastrop, Texas, as shown in Attachment 2.
I'll second that.
All right, call roll on this one.
Don't have to.
Yes,
Yea or nay?
it's going to be Christopher Toth,
Yes.
Jimmy Crouch,
Yes.
Keith Alborn,
Yes.
Gary Moss,
Yes.
Jeffrey Estes,
Yes.
Jordan Scott,
Yes.
David Barrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and move to item 3E. It's the same plat. Consider and act to approve the West Bastrop Village Phase 1, Section 5 final plat consisting of 5.1 acres out of the Nancy Blakely survey, Abstract 98, located west of FM 20 within the ETJ of the City of Bastrop, Texas, shown in Attachment 2.
I have one question. What's changed in the past 15 seconds?
Well, let me give at least a quick overview to explain. So this is this is a developer and subdivision we've been working with. Typically, you'd go through a preliminary plat, do a lot of infrastructure designs, et cetera. But since this is such a master development, the utilities have been worked out through the mud, electric, they're getting through Blue Bonnet. Based on that, based on the location, based on the size, we're able to do a preliminary plat and a final plat in the same night. This just has to be two different processes. But I want to explain why we can go so quick from preliminary to final.
Right.
Is all the utilities and stuff are in place.
Got it.
So again, let's we want to go overview. It's the exact same product as before. Just want to make that point of why we're going from preliminary to final in the same night.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept it and
Second.
approve it.
We got a second? Can you call the roll?
Yes, Christopher Toth, Jimmy Crouch,
Yes.
Keith Alborn,
Yes.
Gary Moss,
Yes.
Jeffrey Estes,
Yes.
Jordan Scott,
Yes.
David Barrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 3F, consider and act on nominating a Planning and Zoning Commission member to each other board and commission as a liaison.
So previously, y'all had already chosen liaisons to each one of the boards. The Construction Standards Board liaison was Joshua Bingaman, and he's no longer with the commission. And the Main Street Board as well. It was Ishmael Harris, and he's no longer part of the commission. We have 3 commissioners that are not part of a liaison to a board. And we have those 2 boards in addition to Cultural Arts and the Historic Landmark Commission as options.
So we don't have anyone on the Cultural Arts or the Historic Landmarks Commission?
The Historic Landmark Commission, Gary Moss is the Planning and Zoning Commissioner that's part of the board. But he's not like a liaison, he's actually part of the board itself. So the Historic Landmark Commission, we don't necessarily need a
yeah.
liaison for, but these 3 we do.
Okay. But the Cultural Arts, we do?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Cultural Arts, Main Street, and Construction Standards. And it's between Commissioner Estes, Commissioner Crouch, and Commissioner Toth.
Okay, so we could do,
Volunteer for Main Street or Cultural Arts, depending on what the other 2, my other 2 fellow members would like to do.
okay.
What does it entail?
Can you turn your mics on, por favor?
What does it entail?
So previously, we realized that the Planning and Zoning Commission and all the decisions that were taken in this board affected a lot of our other boards. So each one of the commissioners now is a liaison to those boards, so they can assist with any questions that those boards have or anything that those boards want to bring forward to like the Planning and Zoning Commission. So you're acting like a liaison to those boards.
Do we go to their meetings?
Yes.
So now we have another meeting.
But you're not a voting member, though. You're just there to advise, tell them what's going on
So that
here.
would be something that you would be able to discuss with the staff liaison that's for that board or the board members, depending on how often the boards meet.
Yeah.
So Alondra, may I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
So there's 2 on there, Main Street Advisory and Main Street Board. the Main Street Advisory Board actually oversees 4 different subcommittees. And so Ishmael and I were kind of co-doing that, so we don't need an extra person for that. So we can take that out of the running and you can concentrate on the historical and the construction standards board. Yeah.
And cultural arts as well, right?
Yeah, really the goal of the liaison, in my opinion, is just being informed on what their goals are and what their needs are for the boards that you represent, and then figuring out how we fit that in with our board, vice versa. So, for example, with the Parks Board.
Construction?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I think what Gary's trying to say is I'm already on the construction standards board, so I could be the liaison board as well, I guess, and just do double duty.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
It's
you're already,
called
so
killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
if you're already on the board, like he's on his board, it makes sense that you know what's going on, and if there's any needs or anything you want to bring up in our meetings that pertain to it.
Yeah, I don't know if
That's
there's
the
any
point.
rules against that. So I don't wanna-
Are they going to
Yeah.
let you stay on the construction board by being on here? Jimmy, do you know?
Sir?
Are they going to let you stay on the construction board by being on P and Z
I haven't
too?
heard any different.
Okay,
Yeah.
I bet you will.
Yeah, really, just the expectation is just know what's going on, just talk to your connect for that board, or if you are the person, I'd suggest it to Alondra that maybe once a quarter, we just provide updates on what's going on, and if there's any way we can help, and if not, just say, hey, nothing to report.
I don't
Business
think
as
that
usual.
board's met in a year,
Yeah, so,
so it's not a very.
I'll take that one then.
Yeah, too late.
yeah, so, just, making sure that there's communication and stuff, so. Okay, Main Street Board, you said that you can handle both because you're already doing that? Okay, so then construction standards would be Mr. Crouch?
That's all right.
Okay. And then you could handle the cultural enhancement arts board?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
All right. So do we need to do an official nomination for these boards?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to nominate, or would it be a motion? A motion to nominate David to the Main Street Board, right?
Aren't you already on there?
Already on it.
The Main Street Board or the Main Street Advisory?
See, that's the thing, is that I think there's a typo on your screen.
Okay,
It's just that they have so many subcommittees. That's their.
okay, so it's
But
the same thing.
I can help him out with the Main Street Board for those other 4 subcommittees when he can't make it because he says they meet at noon, and I can go at lunch. That's no problem with me.
So do you want to nominate him to be on the board with you?
I don't care. It's just whatever.
I make a nomination so that I can have some backup on all these design 12 o'clock meetings on Friday and parade meetings that happen Mondays at noon. And what else are you?
I don't know.
You want to be a part of this?
I've done parades my whole life, so.
I'll second that, whatever you said.
It's just backup.
Okay. And then do we have a nomination for the Construction Standards Board?
I'll nominate Jimmy Crouch for
Second.
the construction standards.
Okay.
And I'll help David or whoever with any other board. I've got capacity to do that. And so if there's meetings at noon or whatever, if you need help with it, just call and I'm happy to go sit in. I've been on the Main Street Board previously, Construction Standards Board, and that's it. Oh, the Parks and Recreation Board. So any of those, I've been on those 3 previously, so if y'all need help with any of that, then
Okay.
I'm happy to help.
And then a last nomination for the Cultural Arts Board? Would anyone like to make a nomination?
I nominate Chris to be on the Cultural Arts Board, please.
I'll second.
Cool. Good there?
Do all motions pass? You'll have to,
Oh, can I do one single?
yeah.
Okay, and all in favor for these motions?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and then item 3G, discuss possible action on the Planning and Zoning Board work plan. Okay, discussion and possible action, okay.
Quick thing before we get away from this nomination of all this other stuff. Are you going to be responsible for sending everybody when the meetings are? Like yours?
Yes, so I will send a overview of what each board does. I'll send you the staff liaisons' contact information so you can get in contact with them. And then y'all can go from there. I'll send y'all meeting dates and times. Some boards meet depending on when they're needed. So I'll try to compile as much as I can for all of y'all.
Thank you.
Anybody present this, or are we
Yeah,
just discussing?
are we just discussing amongst ourselves? Okay.
Plan for,
So basically what city council, city management, et cetera, we're trying to come up with board plans for the different boards. This is something that Rhonda and Nicole put together for us, and some good stuff. And so what we're trying to do with the different boards, this is kind of a fluid document, is come up with a work plan based on goals and action plan. These are the goals, again, we're looking for y'all's input, is in board goals to promote collaboration amongst other boards and commissions, not just be a part of liaisons. City departments, whose goals and strategies connected with the planning and zoning commission. Review policies, procedures, and regulations on an annual basis to ensure adequate changes are made to keep up with the growing challenges and addresses continuous growth, and keeping up with state regulations, which we're pretty well doing every meeting with their B3 code updates,
Yeah.
ordinance updates, city staff, and trying to keep up with all new state laws being reviewed and proposed. Review and update previously adopted long-range plans that address the future of the city's growth with a minimum of every 3 years. Again, that's kind of work in progress. We're working on the comp plan as we speak. They'll be coming to a public meeting here in April, and meetings with y'all, so we're real close to bringing you the proposed comp plan and map. Going back to the actions now, the action plan, goal 1 will be accomplished as follows. Maintain and grow the liaison relationship, time to time, with the planning and zoning commission and other boards. The commission will provide updates on their respective board, their liaisons to quarterly as needed. Again, we do every meeting as needed meetings. Goal number 2 will be accomplished as follows. The development director will, on an annual basis, bring forth any amendments to current and future regulations applicable. Again, this is based on what we're kind of doing now, more of that, and then based on that state laws change we made to modify our local ordinances. These documents will give you a recommending body to the city council. These documents will be presented to city council for approval if changes have been made to the policies. Goal 3 will be accomplished as follows. The development director will bring forth amendments to current and future regulations applicable. The document will be presented to city council for approval if changes have been made to the policies. And the development director and staff will organize public education and sessions to increase engagement in the comprehensive plan process, again, that we're going through. And again, that's again a general review, and again, Alondra and Nicole, really the ones that are all work on this. Just you want to go have a little discussion, we're going to
Yep.
answer questions, any input we get from the board, et cetera, it's appreciated.
Yeah, I guess we could just go through it one at a time, each goal that they have, and then any input or anything you guys might have on it. Starting with goal 1, which is,
Don't mind real quick, Jordan, once you go through that, really be open-minded, anything you see that we missed, please add to that also.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. This is, it seems like this is going to be like a breathing document that you have that we can look at, so we really know the the direction on top of all of these different changes and stuff being approved and plats and whatnot, just to keep in the back of our head. So with goal number one, promote collaboration amongst other boards and commissions, I think we're addressing that with the liaison. Something that I added was setting a time or setting what I like to think of as an accountability that requires us to stay in contact with our boards that we are liaison for. So I suggested quarterly updates. Maybe one thing I would like to see is we specify when during the quarter, so we know, hey, first meeting of the quarter, we bring our updates or we put it on our agenda. So like if we could, that's what I was thinking, like being super specific about when exactly we want it to happen so it gets put on the agenda, not just forgotten about. So I was thinking every quarter, first meeting we have, we just talk about what's going on with the board that we're a part of, or if we're on a board that meets once a year, hey, nothing's changed, we haven't met. So I know, like I said, for mine, the Parks Board, they're always doing stuff and wheeling and dealing and whatnot. So I think a quarterly basis for the busier boards would be good, but it's not too frequent. So I was like, every meeting we have to feel like we have to say something. So it's like, that was my suggestion. Do y'all agree, disagree? Quarterly
April,
updates?
August, November, January?
Yeah,
updates?
just, on the agenda item, hey, talk about your board a little bit, like a couple, even if it's a couple sentences, hey, my board hasn't met, or hey, my board met a few times, they're really hammering down at Bob Bryant, putting in a new thing, they really need X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 you know?
Good idea to do it on a quarterly basis, because a lot of them will meet maybe once, twice, 3 times,
Yeah.
type thing. So, by having it on our agenda every time for that quarter, then it
Yeah.
reminds us to do that.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah,
Good
exactly.
idea.
It reminds
Yeah.
us to communicate with them, and maybe we see or hear something that, okay, maybe this is something we have to address.
Has
So,
anybody had any experience yet about being a liaison for, and how the interaction works and stuff like that? Tell us about it. Maybe it would help all of us understand, because
Yeah, so essentially was attending the meetings on Wednesdays when they were previously on Wednesdays, and it was listening. There was a lot of listening. I would answer any questions, and then, of course, just offer support and guidance. Simple as that.
yes,
There's a lot of listening.
do you guys think that we should be attending every meeting, if possible? Is that, is it,
The one time you don't show up is when they'll have a question.
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, you gotta be there.
So should we include that in our goals, that it's one of our goals to attend the meetings of the boards that we're liaisons of, so it sets it as an expectation?
It says-
I think that's kind of a given, but, doesn't hurt to put it in writing. Not going to swear to it anyway, so.
It says maintain and grow the liaison relationships. Is that not fully encompassing what you're talking about?
I just like, I like specific language, so, I mean, we could put that in there, attend the meetings of the boards as part of it, right? Okay, yeah, that's it.
So if I'm on the son of, I have to complete that?
You have to complete that.
When the motion is made, just make sure to make the motion amending to add the attendance
Okay, can we go ahead and do that now?
when y'all are ready.
Am I allowed to make a motion? No, okay. Does someone else like to make a motion?
I make a motion to add the language that board liaisons must attend meetings of the other committees or boards that they are being the liaison of.
I'll second that.
Cool. All in favor?
All right.
All right. And then, would we like to make the change? It says quarterly. Would we like to say the first meeting of the quarter instead, just so it's specific that it gets done?
Sure. You can do that, but I don't think they all are in sequence when their meetings are. He might even meet once or
Oh,
twice a year.
I meant,
Reporting to-
see how we're reporting quarterly? Do we want to specify which meeting it is?
No, I would just keep that open, and what
Yeah.
staff will do is, again, have more discussion. What I kind of see is December, we talk about HLC, January, so the goal is to have quarterly reports, but the question, would you want them all at the same meeting or spread them out across different meetings? Make sense?
I think I would say, too, that we can trust the staff to bird dog this for us.
Okay.
My concern would be if we've got a particularly busy meeting, like that 4.5-hour, 5-hour meeting we
Yeah.
had, we probably don't want to do these reports or commit ourselves to having to do the reports when
Right.
we've got 4 or 5 hours of business to do.
And again, the visual I had,
I
and
can
again, the
agree
deal
with
is,
that.
you've seen council do this, so we have the same scenario with council, with the boards, where the council members at the board meeting make a presentation, is what I see is January, we have HLC, February, we have Main Street, and if something in particular comes up, we can put it on the agenda. But I really saw exactly spreading it out instead of spending an hour with all the different boards on
Yeah.
one meeting.
Okay.
And I think staff can take care of that for you.
You good with that? Cool. Okay. Anything else as far as liaisoning or dealing with other commissions? All right. So our second goal, reviewing policies, procedures, and regulations on an annual basis to ensure adequate changes are made to keep up with the growing challenges. So looks like that this will be mainly on the development director. Is there any other responsibilities that we think we may need to have or add to, like, as far as like, hey, should we be providing suggestions or?
So
Any of that
basically,
sort?
again, based on growth, based on development, based on city management, based on direction, again, you're a recommending body to city council.
Yeah.
City council can set out procedures and policies that we need to change these ordinances. City manager may see that, staff may see that. So as the city grows, again, to keep up with the stuff we're doing already, lot sizes, drainage, et
Yep.
cetera, keeping up with new bills adopted by, laws passed by the state, that'll be, like you said, us bringing it to you.
Okay. And then I'm going back to my point on like assigning a time. It says on an annual basis. Do we want to be specific about when that happens or like, hey, or is it just?
I would really say that would be an ongoing basis instead of an
Okay.
annual basis. That's an ongoing process with every planning and zoning commission. Is there a reason we came up with annual? Just have any input? I'll just say an ongoing basis.
Okay.
It's an annual, be my recommendation.
Okay.
Which, again, we've been doing that, so.
Yeah.
Kind
We
of
have a lot
history,
of changes we have to
history
make.
speaking what we're doing.
I guess we're thinking like forward thinking more so when it slows down or we make all of the major changes that we need to make. And this is in a, and I wouldn't say like a lull, but just in a period where it's not changing nearly as much, like setting a period. Hey, the last quarter of the year, is there anything that we saw this past year during the busy season of development? Because it's to my understanding development slows down normally during the holidays, or do these guys not sleep or hang out with their families? I don't know. Maybe in the slow season, like looking back at the year and saying, hey, this is what we saw that is causing problems and whatnot.
Well, again, with the growth Bastrop's seeing, with the location, the economy, I mean, we've got enough stuff to keep us busy for the
Yep.
next couple of years with changes.
Okay.
But again, once we get all caught up and got current, it's just getting everything up to speed that we're working on now.
Okay. Cool. I don't really see anything else we need to change to goal 2. Are we all good? Okay.
We'll make a motion to accept
All right.
plan as written and added to.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All opposed. Okay, then finally, goal 3 would be review and update previously adopted long-range plans to address the future of the city's growth in a minimum of every 3 years. So, same thing with the development director bringing us stuff. I don't see anything else. You said every 3 years. That was y'all's recommendation. Do we see any need for any changes, or do we have any questions?
I just have one question. Are the develop development and planning teams with the city? Are we fully staffed? Do you guys feel supported by the city?
Well, we have open positions right now with senior planner, development techs, which again, with the private sector and the public sector, there's a lot of need for staff out there. But we have the positions, we just got to fill the positions.
One quick question. Do we have an ongoing projects for like 10, 20 year site of Bastrop? Like what's the 10-year plan, 20-year plan?
Repeat the question if you don't mind.
He wouldn't care past 20.
Who's older than who here? Anyway, no, is there like an ongoing project when we're looking at what's Bastrop going to be in 10 years?
So that's what's going to be coming. So it's all the open houses we did. That's all the public meetings we had. That's what you're fixing.
That, streets, highways.
Yeah. So there's,
everybody's complaining about 71 and trying to get to the other side and what's it going to look like in 10 years? Does anybody have any idea?
so that's part of the public workshop we're fixing to have based on all the public meetings, everything we've done with half of the associates. And go ahead, Alondra, you want to say something? Yeah.
So we have we have 2 chapters that we are currently working on we're bringing forward to y'all next month, as he said, from the comp plan. But currently, yes, we are kind of working through all of them. We're trying to update our transportation master plan. Our comprehensive plan has other chapters that also need to be amended. It hadn't been done in a long time, so it's been a lot.
Yeah,
No,
so-
but it is something, I mean, our comprehensive plan, yes, it is supposed to be outlining the future growth of Bastrop, and it's supposed to show, currently our comprehensive plan is for 2036. I think we've passed everything that they had on there, so we have to go in and change all of those. But it is something that we are currently.
Yeah, so when you guys are referring to long-range plans, you're referring to transportation, comprehensive, sidewalks,
Yeah, so the
all that
comprehensive
stuff.
plan, it has a couple of chapters, and each one addresses different things.
Yeah.
We have CIP projects that are city projects that we work on. We have transportation, we have the community growth. It really outlines everything
Okay.
on how the future of Bastrop.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question, because this whole thing seems like it's a pretty broad statement as far as your number 2 with the state regulations and number 3, the previously adopted long-range plans. I know Mr. Goldsmith got up and talked about the development north of town and said that there was something planned on that, or that the city council or the planners had written a plan for that or started a plan for that, and then he brought it up, and that was done back in 2017 or 2018, I think. And are you getting into that much detail to go back and look at things for that long a period of time? And then we already have a comprehensive plan. Is it just us to be regulating that the city's doing, or we're moving along with the comprehensive plan the way it was written in whenever the last one was? I think it was 2018.
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify. When's the public meeting? April, for the comp plan?
April 24th.
So April 24th, so we're in the process. Your comp plan is the foundation of everything you're talking about. The comp plan through the public meetings, the open houses. We looked at land uses. Where do you see future growth? What's the roads issues? What's the pros? What's the cons? So the public meeting on that is going to happen in April. That's going to come to you all as official action. Once we adopt the comp plan, we can come back in more details based on this future development of Bastrop. I think to your question, this is what we need to do to address this future development based on how it's going to take place in Bastrop.
Yeah, because I know the old comp plan didn't take into consideration that Elon Musk was going to go north of town and all that development that's happening now. And so we would just have to get updated and keep up.
Well, and the stroll is, the comp plan really identifies the city and the ETJ, but you have to still address your traffic, your water, your sewer for stuff that's outside the city. So that's that next layer of refining your traffic plan. And cities like this, growing, working in Dallas-Fort Worth, the construction sometimes gets ahead of your planning. And that's what we're trying to do, is catch up with the growth that's taking place.
Yep.
And then when you list out state regulations like that, those constantly change
Yeah, the state was
Nonstop.
number two, they meet, you want to go ahead? So they, again, they're looking at lot size requirements, they're looking at trees, it's, developers, lobbyists, and cities both, whoever's talking to our lawmakers, what bills finally get written and what bills finally get passed.
And so that's something you want this commission to help staff with?
Well, basically, we just need to make you aware of, the specific is when they change the law that we can't do this anymore, or they give us authority to do this, that we want to look at it. Like, for example, our tree ordinance, local government code let us go down from 13 to 10. They pass a law that gives us more authority to do this. If something for Bastrop's growth, we want to, adopt that as part of our ordinances. And sometimes there's bills passed by the state that cities no longer have that authority, like we have the ETJ where you can de-annex from the ETJ. So there's state laws that kind of can affect what we're already requiring.
Yeah, but you guys are going to bring all those changes that we need to make
Yeah, we'll
to
bring
us.
them to you. Yeah.
So this is more for us to be able to provide that information to y'all, yes. So like the increased engagement in the comprehensive plan, at the end of the day, the citizens know Bastrop the best. So it really is having the input of the people, the boards, but it's not the help really. I guess it's just the input. We need the input from the citizens, the community. So like all of the code amendments, meetings that we've had, like that, the stuff like that, that's where we need the help.
Yeah, and with this work plan, we're really just defining what we want this board to do outside of approved plats and zoning changes and whatnot. We have a lot of responsibility and whatnot with the growth. So it's important stuff, guys. Do we have anything else that we can think of as of now? Because we can always revisit this and change this, that we would like to make a goal of our board. Are we missing anything currently major? I know we already have a lot on our plate, so.
Just come to the meeting prepared.
Yeah. That's a big one. I'm glad you said that. Part of what I wanted to do as chair, and I've talked to David about this, is making sure that, especially when we have these, we can anticipate when we're going to have these long meetings with these big projects, is doing our homework, doing our research, talking to Sylvia, reaching out to developers if needed, and informing ourselves beforehand so we could be as efficient and effective as possible at our role here on the board. So
Should we have one contact who
maybe
contacts contractors and developers instead of all of us asking the same questions with the same developers? They might get a little annoyed having to speak with 6 different people with the same questions.
I don't think anybody on the board should contact the developers
no,
themselves directly.
Is there anything against us reaching out if we had any questions?
You just have to be open on the open meeting act where 2 or 3 more commission members talk. Usually it's best to direct those questions to staff when we get to the developer. It doesn't give that image of, hey, I got approved on my plat because I talked to so-and-so on the board. It's always just, it's a lot easier to keep it clean that way. But as y'all, again, I think what you're saying at number 4 would be is be informed, be educated, read the information we send you. And that's a good discussion is, if y'all have any questions of staff on a particular case or a process, and at some point we want to do a little bit of training and maybe get legal here on some of our processes and what authority we have. But number 4 would be a good item, but just be informed, be prepared, ask questions of staff as y'all need to. And, when you get your packet, review it and talk to staff ahead of time. And again, we try to keep y'all informed before the meeting, get the packets out to you in time. So if y'all have any questions, you get back with staff.
Yeah, I think that'd actually be a really good one to add, is staying informed and prepared for our meetings. Do we agree?
Yeah, you want to add that as number 4?
Yes, I need a motion.
Okay. And you might recommend that you'll see the site. I mean, that's just driving the area if you have time to do that. That answers a lot of questions, when you can visually see, since Patricia's not here, I'm going to talk about her. Because since I sit next to her, she's always asking me, where is this? Where is it? Where is it? And if you go out there, you'll know exactly where
Yeah.
it's at. And it's real helpful to really understand and really look at what they're trying to develop out there, which makes sense. Because just like in the last meeting we had, where everybody was saying, got to have a traffic plan, type thing. And if you think about what they're putting over there in the Pecan Grove type deal, is that it's probably going to have the least impact of any development that's probably ever come to Bastrop because of where it's at. Because you can visually see if you go out there that when they pull out onto the service road of 71, they can actually get right up on the freeway there going east. And then to go west, they just go down and turn left around the circle
Yeah.
and get up on it going west. And there's not a light for them to go through. And then with the adding of the streets and stuff like that, they can go out to 304. I mean, it's going to have the least impact, even though it's going to add cars, but it's not going to be
Yeah.
a major, impact. So, but by going out there and seeing that, it makes it a little better to understand it.
Okay, yeah, and we could add that to our action plan. So our example would be, our goal would be to stay informed and prepared for all of our meetings ahead of time. And then the action plan would be making sure that we're reading the material in our packets, that we're visiting the sites beforehand if we have time, and talking to staff and asking questions before we come to the meeting.
Add prepared for the meeting.
Mm.
You can read the material all you want, but you really need to be prepared by when questions start being asked, that you're not fumbling through all the paperwork trying to figure out what are they talking about. Hopefully you've taken, the time that it takes to just look through the packet. It's not like you're going to have a test or anything.
Yeah,
It's just really important that you're prepared.
absolutely. Yeah, so prepared for the meetings in advance,
Yeah.
prior to the meeting. Okay. And so, like I said, that looks like reading all the materials in the packets beforehand, asking questions, visiting the site. What else can we do to get prepared?
Somebody bring pizza.
Gary.
Food.
What?
You know the best pizza places in
Goal
town, so
number
you have to
5.
bring pizza.
Bring pizza. But ideally, this work plan too, if we get a new member, be like, you want to know what P&Z is all about? Here you go. Give it to them. So,
This is good.
cool. Okay, so
So-
can I get,
Is there a requirement to read the B3 code, read our current code, read the comp plan, read the traffic plan right now?
that is an
Has
excellent
everybody
question.
on this commission done that?
That is an excellent question, because when I first joined, I was advised not to spend too much time on it because we're going to change it.
I'd like to make a motion to have Jimmy explain it to us.
Well, I don't mind.
B3 start.
But I think it's hard, to me, it's hard for this commission to make a good decision, or to not sit here and go, what does that mean, if you haven't read those 3 things? And if you haven't read the comprehensive plan, and we're getting a new one, but the last one I think was 2018, and the traffic plan was, just looking at the city council meetings that have been happening lately, they show the old and new traffic plans, and that is dated too, but they're all really old. But if we don't understand what's in the code, then how are we supposed to make good recommendations to change things? So if we haven't read, and I'm not trying to pile a bunch of work on any of us, but we can't make good decisions unless we have at least read it one time. And so maybe as we get new people on, maybe that is a homework assignment, to read those. And
Yeah.
the building code is a long document, but the comprehensive plan and the traffic plan, just to look at it so you can understand which way the traffic's flowing, would be good, I think.
You have a comment?
Couple things. One, I'd be careful about adding too many specifics of what board members are required or should do, only because those can change. And the main fact here is people that are conscientious are going to prepare, and you can put anything you want in a document, and it doesn't mean that unconscientious people are going to go ahead and do it. If I can make a suggestion, I think one thing we do need for certainly every new member is an orientation of some sort by staff. And I think during that orientation, part of that can be that they're provided with a copy of the B3 code and the technical manual.
Yeah.
And the staff discusses with them some fundamentals of preparing and suggests that you go out to the site. Then that becomes something that staff can discuss with every particular member. We make sure that every new member has the materials they need without having to ask for them. And I think we can accomplish the same things. If people are going to be conscientious, they're going to be conscientious. If they're not going to be. But the staff can at least help develop expectations for every member through a very positive and informed, detailed orientation. But I think that orientation process could take care of a lot of all this.
And I completely agree with what you're saying, and I think it goes in tandem with this work plan that we're making, because these aren't, I wouldn't really consider these requirements or like, hey, you have to get this done, like homework. This is more so like general goals, like, hey, these are the goals of the board. And I like the idea of the orientation, and part of that orientation could be, hey, you're joining this board, this is the board goals, right? And going to your point of knowing the code and the master plan and all that good stuff, instead of saying it's a requirement to read and to know. I just jotted this down. One of our goals could be maintain a general knowledge of the current code and long-range plans. So by maintaining, it's just at your time reading through it and making yourself familiar with the material.
Yeah, and none of us are code writers, and we want just average citizens on this board that make just common sense decisions and recommendations. So you have to keep that too, but you can't, to me, you can't come onto planning and zoning board and not know anything about it. And that's one reason that council has a requirement for at least 3 members, I think, of this board to have that background in architectural or some type of background, because that's what we're doing, is we're setting the pace for the development here. And so if you don't know anything about it, then you need to brush up on it a little bit. And I know all the documentation is there. It doesn't have to be a requirement to sit down and read it all, but it would make the process a lot smoother if you had knowledge of it.
Yeah, and that's
At
why I
least read it
said,
one
like,
time.
it's a goal. You know, a goal isn't an absolute. It's hey, we want a goal for everyone on here to have, and that's why I chose the words general knowledge. I don't expect you to say, hey, it's chapter 10, subsection C, what does it say? But just to know, like, hey, what are the street widths on for these different things, and maybe, hey, if you read through it, you'll ask questions. Wait, why is this required? Why do we have these street widths? Oh, because fire code, stuff like that. You know. So we could add that. Do we want to add a 5th goal as maintaining knowledge of current code and plans?
What Chris was saying, I don't know how we put it into, but just to have staff on an onboarding thing with new members, run through that, and
Well-
where the documents are, how to access them, and that type of thing.
Okay, so
Yep.
do we want to make it a goal that we effectively onboard new members with?
That would have been nice.
Yep.
For me.
That
I
could
think
be
to
a
the
goal.
effect of new members shall be provided with an onboarding and orientation process by staff to include a briefing on core documents and core responsibilities of P&Z members.
I second that motion.
Okay, so staff, can we accommodate as a 5th goal that we have an onboarding process for a board? Okay, let me.
I'm ready. I've learned so much.
Hey, Doc. I got a question.
Yes, sir.
When we had requested orientation previously, there was a series of code rodeos. Are any of those planned in the future?
As far as code rodeos?
Yeah.
As we come, so the code rodeos were what we were trying to change to communicate with the public. And again, the struggle is we're trying to adopt new rules, do ordinances and stuff. But again, besides just new members, our goal is like the trees right now, there's so much misinformation, communication on the tree ordinance we're trying to adopt is, as we find time, is maybe just at every meeting, just touch on a certain chapter or an overview or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I helping answer your question?
Well, Gary and I came on at the same time, right? Yeah. And, I mean, I was given all those documents, and then we were invited to these code rodeos to
Right.
get better acclimated to all
Right.
the information. But it seems since 2 years ago, nothing has happened. So I think that that's what the board's asking for.
Yeah.
Just what,
We need
some
to get
sort
back-
of consistency.
We need to get back to that.
Workshops, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you're right, what you're saying there, but, in reality too, is that all it really requires is maybe an explanation how this all works. You guys do, the staff is really responsible for going out and developing all of this and bringing to us all the information we absolutely need to do it with. But in the very beginning, it's difficult to really understand that's the fact. We're an advisory board. That's all we are. We're political cover. We're just here to protect them and the council. So we're like the conductor on the train. Let it jump to tracks to see who catches heck. But we can't do anything about it. But the point I'm trying to make with that is that it's all there. They do a really good job of that. And these are the people that are spending all their time and energy and know it inside and out. And when they present it to it, that's what it should be right there. The issue I've had with them is the fact that in their recommendations, when they recommend something, they've been very reluctant to really say, this is what we recommend. Do it this way, because they're usually right. But if they would write the recommendations a little clearer to what the motion needs to be, it'd make life so much easier, and it'd make us have more understanding of what's really going on with that. That makes any sense?
It used to be.
Yeah, and it needs to come back.
That staff would have a solid recommendation, or say this is our absolute recommendation for
Well,
changes?
They do it now, but they kind of do it like,
Well, we
I understand
provide.
what you want.
We provide the information to you. We provide as much information for compliance or non-compliance or codes is my position. When staff just recommends it, it takes away y'all's kind of responsibility.
Yeah.
Y'all's goal is really look at, here's the facts, here's what the applicant presented. Does it meet y'all's requirements and recommend it to P&Z? I just struggle sometimes when staff recommends, this is from life experience, straight recommends. P&Z doesn't really take the time to review it and check it. And I hear what Gary said is that common ground, we need to give you enough information to make a decision, but just coming out straight recommend. And when it's a straight denial, it's going to be pretty black and white. But the recommendation of approval or denial, we should be giving you enough facts to do either one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you're leaving it too much open.
We'll work better on that.
I don't think you go hurt any of these guys' feelings up here. I know in the past, some of the people that have been up here are like, you can't tell me what to do, per se.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do anything in the first place, okay? That's solid, that the council can't change or won't change or could change, or y'all can change it.
Right.
Seen it happen. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all are spending all the time in the world, and you have all the resources in the world to determine, is it right or is it wrong? Does it meet the code? So when it
Right.
comes to us, it should pretty much happen. And I guess we're just a gut check, and that's what it should
Well,
be.
I hear what you're saying, but I think that what he is saying makes sense in the fact that we should be bringing our own experiences, our own opinions, our own interpretations of what the public wants into consideration over just exactly what the staff wants. Because there are plenty of times where we've disagreed with staff, and I think it's better how they do it. And then it leaves it up to us in the meeting to ask them, hey, what do you guys think? Or ask them beforehand.
Well, again, we want to be real transparent for the applicants, for
Yeah.
the citizens, is here's the facts presented by the applicant, like the zoning planning cases we had tonight, is here's the facts from the applicant, here's the requirements from the staff, not staff, requirements of our ordinances, et cetera.
Yeah.
And what direction staff would need from y'all as commission members as we bring these cases to you is us let us know what information you think would be more beneficial. And as we go through, and we're an evolving department, is, you know, we could, like tonight, I could have given you a better overview of the site. I mean, again, we have a heavy
Yeah.
workload, that's no excuse, but the direction we would need from y'all is where y'all need another
Yeah, 'cause,
additional information to make decisions.
Staff is bringing us the facts, factual information on the data, the code, all the information that they can gather beforehand.
Thanks for
There's a
making my point.
lot of ambiguity in some of these projects that we have that, or it's really up to us to make the decision at the end of the day.
I think
right?
you're wrong. I don't think the ambiguity needs to be there because it's clear what the code is. It's up to us to follow the code. So if it says in the code that they can do this, 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 and this, we can't say, no, you can't do that. That's the ambiguity is not what we do here. We follow the letter of the law, per se, and how it's presented out to us. And, you know, it's up to the city council to make those decisions because they can actually vote on it. We're pretty much, like I said, I'm not trying to say we're worthless, but pretty
Yeah.
close.
Well,
Okay.
like I said, I hear what you're saying, but when we have these projects with planned development districts where we're operating outside of what the norm is for our code standards, it's our job to interpret the public's opinion as well. Staff doesn't directly interact with the public constantly. So we do. They come and we have public hearings.
That's different. I meant outside of the meeting.
Oh, I mean, we
No one-
we do.
No one ever comes up to me outside of a meeting to talk to me about this.
I'll send some people your way.
But
Yeah.
and that's why having hey, this is what staff wants. I do like how, I mean, they do make recommendations. Their recommendations are when they bring people to us and they've done the negotiating. They've done the hard work of dealing with these developers. They've done hey, we need this, 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 and this. We need the drainage. We need this. When they bring us a plan to our meeting, they've gone through all of the nitty-gritty, the finer details. So they somewhat give us a recommendation by bringing them and letting them present it as is. But at the end of the day, it's up to us to have the final say.
Thanks for making my point.
But we don't but I'm saying we don't need a solid hey, this is what y'all need to do. We don't need them to hold us and
It
tell
would
us what
make
to
it a
do.
lot more simpler to do that when they're asking for, a recommendation, basically, and they're putting it out there is to exactly how we would make the proposal. I propose this, 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 this. And we can change that a little bit, but it makes it so much simpler because they're the ones looking at it.
Yes.
And they're comparing it to what the code is.
But do you
and what's
think,
right and what's wrong.
Do you think the staff providing that recommendation eliminates critical thinking on our part?
No, I don't.
I would like to add, though, I do have, first of all, as a matter of practicality, it's been my experience in my brief time on the board here, that if you ask the city manager for her recommendation, she'll provide it. I do see some concerns for staff wanting to jump too deep in the water of recommendations on a regular basis because it makes it appear that the staff is circumventing the democratic process, which a council's part of, which, as we support the council, we're part of it. So I think there's a middle ground. I think to the extent that we want to know of the city manager, what do you think? She'll let us know. And I have asked her on at least 2 occasions, what do you recommend, Sylvia? And she has said what she does. But I think we want to be careful making it appear to the public and to everyone else that the staff is driving the show and the council and the various commissions are just pawns, because that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
And so we have to be cautious in that regard.
Okay.
And this could go back to being prepared. If you want to know what the recommendation is before the meeting, call Sylvia, call Alondra and ask them, what do y'all think about this? And they'll tell you.
So, my experience for years was education. I was in the public schools for 26 years, and there's somebody that's always in charge. Well, our city, who's in charge? I see Sylvia's, she knows what's going on. She has the experience. And when she brings forward this and says, I recommend this, after I've read it, I don't have anything to say about it. I don't have anything to say because she knows 10 times more than I do about that. And then if you talk to her about it, she'll explain it. I just feel like sometimes we get up here and some people just have to say something. They just feel like they need to say something. I'm always like, well, I've read it and I agree with it. Let's vote on it. Just like Gary's saying, we're here to support, and we're a buffer to the council. I just don't want to, and now that I'm in real estate, legal documents, when you put something in Word, when you put something in writing, you have to follow what it says then. So like that very first one on goal 1, maintain and grow the liaison relationships. To me, I said that it encompasses everything that you need. But now we are sworn to go to every meeting no matter what. So I just want to make sure that we understand our goal is not, we're not an elected group. We didn't put our sign out in somebody's yard. We're here because someone asked us to be here and to help. And yeah. I'm not, again, when someone gives me all these documents, this is all they do. They spend, 8 hours a day, and that's all they do is eat, live, and breathe this stuff. And when they say, here's our recommendation, who am I to say no to it? Unless they're wrong. And then, of course, they're not going to be wrong, though. They spent too much time making sure it's right.
Well, to the point that I was making about we're not just dealing with our opinion or staff's, we also have public opinion, right? For example, the trees. Mm-hmm. They recommended a $250 fee. That wasn't enough. We all disagreed, the public disagreed that was here with that recommendation. That goes to show that there's more to the critical thinking aspect of it than just what the staff gives us.
Well, that came from the Parks Board,
Or,
the recommendation of 250, and then we took it above it from there, and that is our job.
But the
That's
staff
not code.
the staff brought that to us,
Yeah.
and they said we want to
They were
recommend
just
what the
telling us.
park. They said we recommended what the Parks Board recommends.
Yeah, they were telling us that this is what the Parks Board want, let's go with it. And that's okay. And again, if they were wrong, it really wasn't a right or wrong to that. It was just, we felt, because
Okay.
we had the power.
That's
that we
exactly
could-
my
that we
point.
could make it, that we could do it, but because we had that power, because we're bigger than that board. But I hate to think of it that way. Always do. But I'm talking more basic, like,
Yeah.
let's, this survey and this thing here and that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is all personal opinion. And we just came up with that, and that's great.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, guys, this work plan, that's why I like the word goal. These aren't requirements. You're not required to go to every meeting. It's a goal to go to the meetings, but it's not in stone requirement. We're going to tally mark the goal or the meetings you don't go to, and you're going to be punished for that. No. That's not, I don't believe that was the intention of this work plan. The intention of this work plan is to, in writing, that we can all see, that we could share with new people in the onboarding, hey, this is what P&Z is about. This is what you can expect. This is what we expect of you as a goal. Get it done.
Works. Let's close it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did we add a goal 4 about the staying informed and prepared and for meetings in advance? Do we want to make that a goal?
I'm sorry?
Do we want to make that a goal?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that was goal number 4.
Did we propose a goal 4 already?
That was for,
Okay.
let's talk about it.
Okay, and then did we want a goal 5 as having some sort of efficient onboarding procedure?
Y'all did the motion for number 5, but not for number 4. So I need a motion for the
For number 4, I'll make a
educating.
motion, accept that.
Second.
All right. Does she know what the motion is?
Can we clarify what number 4 is again?
You clarified, you said it. You started.
The number 4 would be, the goal would be to have members stay informed and prepared for meetings in advance.
And I don't remember voting on number
not.
5. Did I miss that? So we have to vote on that as well.
You you made the motion and Jeffrey seconded it
Okay,
for the briefing and core documents.
but I don't believe we voted on it, did we?
We didn't do it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we'll start with 4. It's a goal to have members stay informed and prepared for meetings in advance. You could say it however you like.
I propose that, yes.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and then we have to, part of number 4 is amending our action plan for goal 4, and we suggested reading the material in the packet in advance, visiting sites, and talking to staff
When needed.
as part of our action plan. Could I get a motion to approve that?
Oh,
You want to,
oh, good.
you want to include reading part of the codes?
No, reading the packet and the material.
Just the packet, not the codes it references,
No.
Because that's another.
That's an orientation thing.
Yeah, it's orientation.
because that's like a manual.
Yes, we're not in that
637 pages.
every time, no. Can I get a motion for amending goal number 4's action plan?
I make a motion to amend thank you very much. I make a motion that every member of the board read the material and prepare accordingly for each meeting. Visit sites as necessary.
I'll second that.
And call staff when necessary.
And the
Right.
potential to call staff. So I make a motion that all board members prepare themselves accordingly for each meeting, which would include, but is not limited to, visiting the sites, reading the packets, calling the staff, emailing the staff, and asking all necessary questions.
I'll second.
So approved, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, and then we have, you said we had an approval for number 5 about creating an onboarding procedure.
Yes, we had a first and a second.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. I think that covers everything.
I have a question for Doc. For Doc. Whenever the staff makes their recommendations for an item, are you making the recommendations per all of the documents that we just listed off? So all of the code, that's, when you make your recommendations, you're just kind of making a recommendation based on the code? Not, because a lot of the things that come to us are modifying or making little tweaks to it, but your recommendations are coming from strictly the code, right?
Well, let me give a broader perspective, because when we clear is, y'all deal with so many different types of cases, ordinance changes, zoning cases, platting. Like the plats we brought to you tonight, they meet all of the requirements. That's a cookie cutter. It's like you said, codes are codes. So when they meet the codes, there's really not much you can't deny them. When you have a zoning case come up here that may be more public input, et cetera, that's where the right again. But we'll never bring you, anything we bring to you is, we're going to bring you the facts for approval or denial. But usually by the time we get to y'all, again, as was stated, we'd work with that applicant, we worked with that developer. You know, P&Z can't approve this because it doesn't meet our code requirements. So the goal is that when we present it, they've met the requirements before that. But again, you have ordinance changes that, part of the discussion, we get that broad picture, is zoning cases, it's platting, it's code changes, it's et cetera.
Okay.
That
Just
help?
Wanted to make sure, because that's what I thought, is you guys just base everything on the written code.
Yes, sir.
your
And again, it stresses we
recommendations
work.
that you're writing are based on the current code, and if we're amending, we can make a recommendation to council to do it per the written code and then staff recommendation, but you can add this, or this based on information that
And it's
we
going
as
to,
citizens want to input or we get from other people. Because
Right.
I can't believe nobody's talked to you outside of these meetings. We need to give them your name and address and phone number. Thank you, Doc.
thank you.
Okay.
Scott,
Think we're
Jordan.
good with the work plan? Yes, sir.
those three people out there showed up after the citizens' comments, that thing you want to ask them, they want to talk on here.
Can we go back to citizens' comment?
Can, yes.
Yeah. Okay, did you guys want to come speak? Okay, and then do I need to open a citizens' comment or? Okay, yeah, so we had a couple people show up, so we'll go back to our citizens' comments, so I'll get that opened up for you guys.
You only get a minute and a half because you were late. Well, that's what I'm just saying.
Can we let our citizens talk, please? Thanks.
Heather Green, 2007 Front Street. Most of you have probably heard me at this point. I've showed up to a lot of planning and zoning and just about every city council meeting here. I just want you guys to keep in mind, I heard you talking about what you want to put in place, and I know that, you guys have to follow the code, and I appreciate that. I just also would love for you to keep in mind the people that this affects when you are approving things, and just maybe think long-term. You may have to approve it because it follows the code, it checks all of the boxes, and that's the case. But moving forward, maybe we need to make adjustments so that way things don't happen. For example, the North End Prairie project, it checked all of the boxes. However, there were no notifications to any of the neighbors that they were going to put 62 homes on 4 acres in my backyard. It has now been downgraded to 42 homes, but it's a little ridiculous to put in downtown Bastrop where we each own a little bit less or more than a quarter of an acre, which is what you guys approved to send to the city council for the minimum lot sizes. So just keep in mind that you may have to check boxes and say, yes, this meets all of it, but now let's go back and say, what can we do to potentially change or make other adjustments or recommendations to the city council to make some changes so this doesn't happen in the future. I know that there's only so much that you can do. Like you said, you are appointed to this, you are not elected, but we do hope that you represent the people that live in this city, and that's it. That's all. I just want you to keep in mind that, we do live here and you do have to check boxes, and I appreciate that you do that in a very efficient way, but maybe make sure that you take a second to keep into consideration the people that do live here and what effect that has on them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else that wishes to speak?
You look like you got something on your mind.
Feel free, this is your opportunity. We don't bite.
I think that's my fault because we had a open position and I had asked them if they would consider maybe applying for the open position. So I think they're here to witness what we're doing.
Okay. Fun stuff over here at Planning and Zoning.
Like reading? Do you like reading, sir?
I think a lot of people are trying to figure out their role,
Yes, sir.
and that's, having the groundwork is mainly going to be the hard part, but actually what you guys are in control of.
Okay. So if we don't have anyone else, I'm going to go ahead and close citizens' comment. Is that okay? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, and to your point, we do our absolute best to consider how our decisions affect all of the people around it. And not blindly accepting what city staff says or recommends, using critical thinking, using our experiences and our passion for the city to make sure that we're taking care of everybody around here, not just the developers or not just ourselves, but the entire city. So it means a lot when someone has passion and cares about something and comes and takes their time out of their evening to come talk to us. So we really appreciate you coming and sharing that with us. And all the meetings you attend, I promise you, it doesn't go unnoticed. So, all righty. So we're over to item 4A, future development related items.
So again, the first one, if you'll help me, Alondra, the North End Prairie, there's been an open house, is that the correct terminology, set up for Monday at the convention center from,
Sorry. Yes, it does start at 6. It's at the convention center.
What is it?
so 6 o'clock next Monday is, we're having an open house at the convention center to allow the public and the developer to, give their input, give an overview, and communicate what's being proposed for North End Prairie. And
It's
specifically for the citizens.
So Monday, March 31st at 6 p.m., it's going to be at the convention center across the street, and it's going to be a discussion for the North End Prairie development. It's a town hall meeting.
And again, go to our Facebook page and you can see again, part of communication, we put a lot of stuff on our Facebook page. And that's particularly one item for the public to see and everybody to see. Not really development related, but again, we were in the process of we have a current dog regulation, pet registration on the books. We were proposing chipping. That turned into more community input. So on Wednesday from, I think, 4 to 6 here at City Hall, we're going to have a kind of an open house to discuss the pros and cons of chipping and registering dogs, et cetera. And then there's a local Angel, Save an Angel, or Angel, which is a pet organization that works with dogs and cats and stuff. They have a rabies vaccination that goes on here on Sunday that we've allowed them to use the parking lot. And then part of that process, they're also going to be doing chipping. We already touched on the comp plan, having a public meeting in April.
April 24th. The pet registration and microchipping meeting is from 5:30 to 7. Here.
So, and then the comp plan we talked about in April with the P&Z meetings, and that's again all on our websites. Of any particular question from the board on future related items? So then let's go to, you want to go to the next one, man?
Okay. Yeah, item 4B, Development Services Department Monthly Project Volume Report.
So these are always hard to read, but this was not too bad. I'm just going to, as always, give a general overview. If you go down the far right, the first item is a big ticket item, is a new single-family residential, 37. Again, this is Val Verde. And again, I really appreciate the discussion y'all have. As part of not just seeing what's new cases coming to you and going out and looking at the cases we've approved. Again, that's majority of Val Verde. You can go out there and see how much that's growing, the future phases coming up. We talked on West Bastrop Village that we platted tonight, to see the school that's going up there, see the lots, but become familiar with the city and being familiar with what you approved as these new cases come up. You can be familiar with the area. You're seeing a lot of activity taking place. I'm going to jump down to the high point. Sprouts, so we have Burleson Crossing West, which is Lowe's. In front of Lowe's, you'll see a brand new strip building that's really looking good, finishing up. There's going to be Chipotle in that building, so we already worked with them. Is hotels, basically what I'm going to call east of 304, south of 71, east of Walmart, if you can picture that triangle, is you see all the different hotels that are wrapping up. Going back to 969 and 71, you have Pearl River Apartments. Was going to do their final walkthrough tomorrow, but with the weather, we'll probably do it Tuesday of next week. So that apartment complex is completely wrapped up. That's the first phase of a future phase, which again, everybody with apartments right now is kind of on hold to see how quick those units rent out. Going back to Burleson Crossing West, you have Burleson Crossing East, which is on the opposite side. You see all the dirt moving on that. That's the Sprouts that you see on here, 655. There's a strip center that's being in the process of permitted. And in that strip strip center, you jump down to the bottom, Aspen Dental has already applied for a tenant finish out in that building. To the right, they haven't applied for a permit yet, will be a PetSmart, et cetera, hope maybe a Kohl's. I mean, all that stuff is in the process right now, but again, the stuff that we've worked through with y'all, you see physically being built out there. Going back to Blakey, Sendero, you see the dirt work being moved out there for that project. Then you have some small ones, a little tenant finish out for Pinnacle Wireless, little family chiropractor, an existing suite number, and then that Aspen Dental at the bottom was in of the future strip center in front of for Burleson Crossing East. So any particular questions on any projects on the list or anything y'all see taking place out there? Again, ride the community, ride these subdivisions, and it takes to get it from dirt to platting what your approval to construction, and you're finally seeing the stuff you're approving physically taking place now.
One quick question
Yes, sir.
about the complex that includes Sprouts. Sorry to ask this again, but my understanding there's going to be a Sprouts, a PetSmart, and then it's in my steakhouse. And am I correct that there will be a major tenant yet to be determined whether it's a Kohl's or a Dick's Sporting Goods? Okay.
The developer. So basically, what the developer doing when you leave, come out of Lowe's, it lines up with Wagon Wheel across way. He's developing and platted everything south of that. He's left between that section, basically the center of the development. It's a pretty deep development between there and the future Blakey, which Blakey will go behind that development around the daycare, come back beside Reed Ranch, which was a PDD we approved of who was involved with that process. So east of, you have Burleson Crossing East, the commercial development, the retirement center. Then there's that large piece there that's been a PDD for an apartment complex. Blakey will wrap around that, end up there at the boot shop with some kind of connection for that traffic flow. So everything from that back to Blakey is still a blank slate for future development. And you can kind of see that where you go out there right now. You can see kind of the dividing line. Some of that back northern portion, you see them stockpiling dirt on it, but that's just so they can do their lifts and compaction on that front part.
Quick question, who's going into to Chipotle? There's 3 doors.
It's whoever they sign up. I mean,
It's not designated.
nothing specific enough.
It's just
No,
there.
no.
Okay.
I mean, we're in that situation. Development is rooftops, commercial. You need the commercial for the rooftops. You need the rooftops for the commercial. You need interest rates to come down. So as interest rates hopefully come down, the prices per square foot, but these Kohl's, these different businesses, again, Sprouts is competing with H-E-B, so you can see the volume that H-E-B does is as you get more rooftops, you get more sales, and they can justify paying at least for that building. So you're seeing that combination effect right now, rooftops to get the businesses and the businesses to get the rooftops. And again, we've got a great school system, so people are wanting to also live for the school district besides the location. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to item 4C, individual requests from planning and zoning commissioners that particular items to be listed on future agendas. Do we have anything?
So after the city council had their 2 meetings in a row, we had our 2 meetings, and then they had their 2 meetings in a row. Did the B3 code and all that get taken care of? So that what happened in her backyard isn't going to happen again in the downtown area? Was that taken care of? Did we get that fixed?
So that's part of going to the open house on Monday to just get all the information, share information. That project is still in a review process. That project's been on the book for like 3 or 4 years, so we're trying to transition from previous staff to current.
And the name of that project again?
North End Prairie.
North End Prairie. That's the 40-something that's going behind her house.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I didn't know there was a name to it.
That's North End Prairie. So when you hear North End Prairie, that's.
And so
project.
Monday night, there's going to be a big meeting. Okay.
So basically, just to get public input, the developer have his chance to speak, everybody share information and make aware of what's taking place.
So it's still not a done deal?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they're at preliminary plat and working through drainage. I mean, again, what you've seen on all these other projects, they go through preliminary plat. If they get past preliminary plat, they go to final plat. Part of final plat is meeting drainage, meeting utilities. There's still a lot to go, but again, the concern is being aware of these developments up front. And we're trying to do a better job as they come in, make the neighbors aware of that.
Yep.
The only item that I could think that we'd like to list, if you guys do put together some sort of onboarding material, could we include that in one of our meetings just to review it and go over it? Because just in case we could provide from a perspective of a board member, making sure all the bases are covered, that we would like someone to know. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're on to Gary's favorite item, item 5.
I'll make a motion.
All right, all in favor?
Yep.
All opposed? Thank you, guys.